Hello everybody, this is Paige from Mosaic Moments, and today I am doing a flip through of different layouts that are mainly using the basic die bundle. Some of these layouts have some of the decorative level 1 dies as well, and I know many of you, including myself, love the level 2 and level 3 dies that make amazing designs, but sometimes going back to the basics, or even if you're just getting started, the basic bundles really can make beautiful layouts, and that's what I'm showing today, is that basics can be beautiful as well. So here is my first layout. Of all the pages I have in my pile here, this one's the most simple. I only used one mat, and really this is showcasing the photos, and sometimes you just want to do that. You don't feel you need a fancy die to go with your photos. They can look good on their own, and the nice thing is the dies fit the grid paper measurements, so a layout like this can be made very quickly. What I also love about this layout is these photos here, and even if you're using the basic die bundle, please, please, please take lots of photos of everything you see, because even on a basic layout, these type of photos look really good, and I also feel like it helps you remember the trip a lot more. It helps you remember what you saw and how you felt, the atmosphere. So I think this is a wonderful layout, even though it purely used the basic die bundle. This page to me really shows off the photos really well. All right, for my next layout, I mainly want to show you this upper section here, although the entire page is great. This is the loop border die. It's a great level 1 die that easily decorates your layouts. But up here, I really, really love this part of the layout. So as you can see, there's this 4x6 photo here, and behind it is a very, very large mat. This mat covers 5x6 squares on the grid. It's our largest die in the basic die bundle. And I could have printed a 5x7 photo to cover the space more. But if you don't want to do that, one option you could do is print a 4x6 like I did here, and then add something like a title or some sort of embellishments here. But I really love the title. I cut it with pattern paper. I believe, yeah, it looks like the same as this. So that was one unique look, was having this background. It's not a solid color. It's like a distressed gray, and then using a pattern paper to cut out these letters. It looks so, so good. But I love the idea of having the 4x6 photo and having extra space for that. It looks really good. A good way to use that space. Plus, again, I have these spaces filled in with detailed photos of some stones. And so, again, these small spaces look really good when they're filled in with those kind of photos. And that's what I love about this layout. All right, here's the next layout, and just so you know, there is the heart and numbers 1 die set up here. These dies have been discontinued, but you never know. We might bring them back at some point, usually for a limited time. So what I do like about this layout, and I do this quite a bit on my basic die layouts, is putting a bunch of photos in a row. In this case, it could fit 5 2x2 squares. Sometimes I like doing the same thing with the 2x3 size design spots as well. And I didn't mat these photos or anything, but they all look good. They all show, in this case, my dog's personality from when she was a puppy and she was just playing in the yard. And so I always like this page, and a big reason is because of this row of photos. This is something I really enjoy looking at with the basic bundle, is seeing those photos in a row. You can show an action sequence, different shots from your vacation or that day, or portraits, and they look really good, and it's really easy to put this together. You're basically cutting multiple photos into the same exact shape, and it just looks so neat and clean on a Mosaic Moments layout. So this is just an idea. Like I said, I do this a lot, and I highly recommend doing some pages with the basic die bundles where you just have a bunch of photos in a row. All right, here is a fun one. So this kind of page pattern, a lot of people probably look at, and it may not be one you use very often because you're not sure what to do with it, because in this case, there's these squares, but there's also these 2x4 sections right next to each other. So when I was looking at this page pattern, I was wondering what I could do with it that would be unique. And what I decided to do is use my Disneyland photos. And of course, you can probably see already that one photo on each side shows Disneyland at night, and the other one shows it during the day. What's working for this layout is the contrast of the day photos with the night photos, and you can kind of see the separation between each section a little bit better. So I just wanted to present this idea. Look, this is what you can do with the basics. I didn't use any fancy dyes. It was just the basic bundle, and these photos were cut with the layering dye bundle as well. This was a really fun layout to make, and I have a hard time finding pages for my nighttime photos, so I thought this was a good solution. All right, you may have seen this layout a lot. I show this one a lot when the newsletter's talking about the basic and layering dye bundles, and I want to talk about it today. It is a wonderful layout. A lot of it's because of the pattern paper, and yes, basic bundle, perfect for pattern paper. I fit a lot of it in here. What I will point out too is basic shapes. If you don't have any photos to fill it, you can add an embellishment on top, and then you have a design spot for an embellishment, right? You don't have to figure out where it needs to go. So in this case, I use my 2 corners for embellishments that came with this series. This paper is from Simple Stories. Added a little embellishment here because I had a huge, basically, paper frame back here. So this layout is partially so fun to me because of all the layering I did. So I used both the basic dye bundle and the layering dye bundle. And if you need to, there is a video that tells you the difference between those 2 bundles. So I really like this part because I used the basic dyes to cut this, and then I used a mix of the basic dyes and the layering dyes for this section. There's 3 layers here, and I really love how this area is wide. So if you're using pattern paper, I kind of recommend going wider if you're layering or adding a photo, so that way you can see more of the pattern paper. That's what I love about this. And I did do a little bit of the layering here. This background's just black paper, so I didn't feel like it needed a wide mat. This is just the basic dye here. This mat is from the layering bundle, and this is from the basic bundle. So you can pretty much, if you're layering, you can mix the 2 different dye sets, and it makes fun pages and makes a lot of fun layers like on this layout. All right, here is another simple layout, but I want to show you a neat idea you can do. So if you look at this middle section here, you can see it uses the same pattern paper. And all I did was use the basic dyes to cut them. So this is the 4x4 die, 2x4 die, and then the 4x4 die again. So this is something you can do, again, really easy. You're just repeating the same pattern paper in each spot. It looks really good. It's like a large panorama look of your pattern paper. And obviously I used the 2 sides to place my photos on top as well. That's why I'm saying the basics can look absolutely beautiful, because you can do simple little things like this, and it really adds some contrast and adds something interesting to your layout, and you didn't have to use a fancy dye. I will also add in these 2 photos here with the frosted leaves. I love taking pictures of leaves when they look like this. It's really great to have on a scrapbook layout. So I think those 2 photos also make the layout. I just used the 2x3 dies from the basic die set, and it looks really good. And this layout was really, really easy to make. All right, so this layout, I want to correct myself. I believe this place is Cabo San Lucas, and I accidentally wrote San Cabos. I did not go here. These are photos from a friend of mine, and so I kind of messed up on the name. But what I love about this layout is this little artwork I did. It's just a little doodle. I didn't really have any photos that went in here, that could go in here very well. So I was like, what could I do that's a little more interesting? And I don't know why, I just decided to draw a little scene of these waves and a big wave. And then I wrote boat tour because they went on a boat tour when my friend took these photos. And then I had these little stickers that I could put on the top here, and I kind of added a little decorative things. It was just really fun, and it's something you can do very easily. I just cut 3 2x2 squares, fit them in a row, and then you kind of just draw on them. You can draw on them before you glue them on the layout. I think I might have drawn it after I glued it on the layout, but it can work either way. It's just something really simple. Again, if you're someone who just likes to doodle and add in a little bit of artwork to your scrapbook layouts, this is a fun idea. And again, I just used the basic dies. All right, this is one of my favorite pages of all time. I made it quite a while ago, probably back in 2013 or something. It's been a while since I've made this layout, but it is gorgeous. It is amazing. And yes, you can do this just with the basic die bundle, and I'm going to explain how you can do it. I actually made this before the basic die bundle was around, but you can do this with the basic die bundle. My photos are all cut just the regular rectangular shapes, so you can cut these with your, well, this is a full 4x6 photo, but you can crop these with the layering dies, and you would make your mats as normal. You cut the mat size. Now, how do you get this ripped look? Because yes, this is a pattern paper that I literally ripped. All you have to do is cut the pattern paper cardstock, whichever you're using. So with the basic bundles as well. So let's say I'm making these 2 pieces here, right? All I would need to do is cut a piece of pattern paper that's a square, the same 2x2 square shape and the 1x2 square shape, and then I just rip it. And I made sure I left some parts not ripped, obviously. So obviously you don't want to rip the entire, every single side, but it looks like I ripped pretty much 3 of the sides here and left this part. So you want to make sure you have a corner that isn't ripped, so that way you can line up with your bottom here. And then I would rip this bottom part kind of to line up with the rip up there. And it's super, super easy. And I did use chalk ink, by the way. So when you rip the pattern paper, it's going to show white here. So I used chalk ink to cover up that white. So I can cut this with the 3x4 die, this layer here. And then I just could rip 2 of the edges here. So I rip it up and again added chalk ink. Another option is what I did here was I took a piece of paper. You can tell it's a little bit wider than this, but you can just take a piece of paper and then place it on top of a cut that was made with the basic die bundle, so you're still covering up the grid lines. So to me, this was so fun. I hope at some point I'll be able to do this again. All right, here's a fun one. I actually have an article that talks about the 2 techniques in this layout, so I will link that below in the description. But this layout features what we call silhouettes. So a silhouette is when you cut out a specific subject out of your photograph. And you may not be able to tell in the video this way, but hopefully from this angle you can see there's actually a layer here. So I'll link to the article to show you how to do a layering. The train is also a layer. If you want to have kind of a more 3-dimensional look, you can do that. Basically, you just print the same photo twice and then cut up one of them and then glue it with pop dots over the first photo. Some of you may like fussy cutting elements out of your photos, and you absolutely can do that on a Mosaic Moments layout. So so basically all you have to do is find space for it. So here I have, this is a 2x5. On both sides here I have 2x5 die cuts. So some of you may like cutting silhouettes. Maybe your background is busy or you just want to give your page a new look. All you have to do is find space for your silhouettes, basically. So on this layout, I have 2 2x5 basic shapes here. So I cut those out with cardstock, and I did add some chalk ink to make it look a little more distressed and cloudy. And then I cut these 2 photos up, and I feel like this background helps them pop a lot more. Mainly what I say with silhouettes is don't go too overboard with them, maybe 1 or 2 at most, but it's a lot of fun. Go check out the article if you're interested in learning how to make 3-dimensional things and silhouettes. All right, this is my final layout, and it's actually a 2-page spread. It's a year in review layout, but I wanted to show you real quick. It actually is a 2-page spread. And I love this technique. And again, you only need the basic die bundle to get this look. So let me show you which dies I used. This is from set C. So this is the 3x4 die, and that does fit the measurements of the grid paper. So that was the white background. And for my square photo, I used the 3x3 layering size. So not the 3x3 that fits the grid paper. This is the layering size that goes with it. And so I used that for all my photos, and you get this awesome Polaroid look, right? And then what I love about it too is I have room for journaling beneath each photo, which was my main goal. This is mainly why I did it, because I wanted to add a little bit of journaling to talk about each month of the year 2021. And this was a really fun one to do. Again, super, super easy. You really just need these 2 dies from your basic bundle to make this. And it looks really good. It's really fun. It's great for a year in review layout, but of course, if you have a layout you plan to add a lot of journaling to, like you went on a really long trip and you were there multiple days, this might be a great solution to talk about each day on one layout. Yeah, so this is a really fun one. I highly recommend trying this out sometime. And all right, I hope all of you enjoyed today's video and learned some new tips and gathered some ideas. If you're new to Mosaic Moments and you don't feel quite ready for the level 2 and level 3 dies, that's okay. You can already start making amazing layouts just with the basic bundle. And even if you've been with us for a long time, I hope that you were able to pick up some new tips and some ideas that you can try next time you sit down to make a layout. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.